rookie, Grant Williams. I'm Sierra Goodwill. Grant, thanks for taking the time to talk with me today.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Well, it feels like we're getting closer to the actual restart now, but for the 3.5 months where we were without basketball, what were you up to and how have you been?
Honestly, just been taking things day by day. Was with Kimba and Charlie. We've been working out and taking care of our own bodies and make sure we're prepared for this upcoming season. Moving forward as we got news and continue day by day. And myself, I feel like I'm doing well. I feel healthy. I feel engaged, and I'm also just excited to be back and be able to keep rolling with the season as well as be around the same guys I love being around.
The last couple of weeks, you've been able to go back to the facilities. Have you been there yet working on your individual workouts, or have you stayed away from the facilities so far?
Well, I've actually been back. I went back for the first time when we got back on, I believe, the 22nd, and I went to the gym on the 24th or 23rd. So I've been in ever since then. So it's been going well. We do as much best as we can to not only work on our games, but to stay in shape and condition. With only one person or one coach, you can only do so much. But we're trying our best just to not only stay active, but to prepare for this Orlando restart.
Well, you're heading down to Orlando in just over a week now. Nervous, anxious, excited? How do you feel about it?
I feel pretty good. I'm excited for not only what's in store, what we could potentially do as the Celtics as a team, but also it's just going to be good to compete again. It's going to be good to get back onto the court and not only to spread the message of what's going on right now in the world, but also to hopefully bring some light back into the world and bring some joy to people's faces as there's some dark times with not only coronavirus, but all the things that are going on right now.
Yeah, I love that. But there have been a significant amount of players who have been nervous about the Orlando bubble situation and said they're uncomfortable with it. Do you have any concerns about it at all, or did you ever consider opting out?
No, I know that I trust kind of the league and what they have in store for us. They wouldn't put us in a position where we would be truly directly affected. So I feel like they're going to take every precaution not only to keep us safe and keep us healthy, but also to keep the games flowing. And I think it will be an exciting restart. I think guys are really excited to get back onto the court. And it is difficult for guys that are considering opting out because you also understand what's going on. They have to be around their families. There's a lot of things that are going on in these moments, social reform. And you can support them as much as you can. And that's how we do as players. We support each other. And whether you opt in or you opt out, no one looks at you differently.
Like you mentioned, there's two major events occurring right now with the global pandemic and the social justice issues that everyone's fighting for right now. But in Florida, COVID cases are surging. Is there any anxiety or nerves or caution around, okay, we're going to get down here, we're going to restart, we're finally going to be competing again, and then this will all have to end?
I would hope that not. I think that we're going to do our best to not only stay on the campus and to stay safe and keep each other protected as players and also as the organizations through teams. But you can't really control. You can only control what you can control, and that's kind of how I think that we're viewing this, and we're taking the risk and going back. But hopefully, there's a big time reward in the back end, and we can not only inspire some hearts and bring, as I said, bring some smiles to people's faces, but also help our league out for the future in store. So. I think that it's definitely difficult to see all the cases surging in Florida, but we didn't really prepare well as a state for the reopening. I feel like there's always going to be the potential risk of a second wave. So all we can do is live our lives and hopefully practice the social distancing measures as well as keep ourselves sanitized and clean and ready to keep moving.
On the other end, it does seem like the league is making a concerted effort to give players the platform to address those social justice issues in this restart. What does that mean to you, and how have you felt the NBA has done in making sure that their players have been heard during this time?
I think they've done a great job. I think the NBA as a league is probably one of the more progressive leagues. They allow their players to not only voice their concerns in society, but also to speak their minds. And they give us the platform to be able to do so. So I think that it can go really well for us now to spread the message and spread the word of what we want to accomplish, but also to really make some change and use our platforms for the better. And I think that's what's going to be really exciting for not only the Orlando restart, not just playing, but what we can do to impact people's lives.
You're going to be allowed to actually change the name on the back of your jersey and put a social justice statement. Will you be doing so?
Honestly, I haven't really thought that much of it. I saw it today, so I'm actually going to have to prepare. We'll see how how it all turns out. I thought about it, and I'm still going to continue to think about it. I think if we do something unified as a team, we may do something individually. So I think we'll just have to show and tell.
About the team, how do you feel the Boston Celtics have been during this time to making sure that their players' voices have been amplified? We've heard from Brad Stevens, who has expressed his support for the Black Lives Movement, and you have a bunch of players on your team who we saw out at protests. How supported do you feel within this organization?
I know they've done a great job. They've been very active and proactive into not only helping us what we want to accomplish, but also for themselves to not only show that they're allies and advocates for the Black Lives Matter movement. And I think Brad, Wick, and a couple of our owners even have initiated some change. And we've actually gotten a cohort together to not only attack certain sectors, not only just education, but also economic reform and as well as police reform. So there's a lot of things that we have in the works right now. It's just a matter of when they come into fruition over time. So I think that they're doing a great job of not only being progressive in their social media output and in the media, but also what they're doing behind the scenes as well.
Switching gears now to basketball, the schedules came out on Friday night. You guys don't have the easiest of the 8-game regular season before you head into the playoffs, kicking things off with the Milwaukee Bucks. What were your immediate reaction to the schedule and how you think it'll prepare you for those playoffs?
I think we have a test for every single game we play in. We have different teams that are played differently, and it's just a matter of us showing again that we're one of the top defensive teams in the league and that we can consistently perform. So it's going to be fun to play against the Bucks and the Raptors and the Grizzlies and the Magic and everyone else we have on the list, the Heat, and each team plays a different way. We might see them in the playoffs at some point. So we just have to come in locked in, prepared, and ready to not only perform at a high level, but also compete at a high level.
Training camp start in less than 2 weeks and then about a month away from the restart of actual game action. How long do you think it'll take for players to get back to that peak shape that you guys were in when the season was suspended back in March?
I feel like every player is going to be different. I don't know if anyone was at their peak, especially later in the year. Guys were dealing with injuries or dealing with other things that are going on in their lives. So I'm actually excited to see how people come back and see if they have a little more pep in their step. And it may take a little bit of time. Those first couple of games may be a little bit rough, but I think that by the time we even get to the playoffs, maybe a little bit before then, we'll see some very high competition and high competitive basketball games.
And there's no doubt it's going to be an unprecedented situation down in Orlando with no fans. So you'll be able to hear, every squeak of the shoe and what the other coaches and players are saying on the sidelines. So what challenges do you expect and how different will it be playing in this atmosphere with no fans?
I think it'll be exciting. It's kind of similar to how you would play collegiate scrimmages. You kind of can hopefully hear the play calls so that you can take advantage of that, and also you can really compete and have that conversation with your own team and not have to worry about the opposing crowd or home crowd. Sure, it takes some energy away, but that just means that our bench and also the guys that we have in the arena, necessarily like other players, maybe have to show that voice of support. So I think that we're going to be very prepared, and I think we're going to not only perform and kind of use our abilities, because we are a young team. We have a lot of energy and we can play it a lot of different ways. So I think that we're going to be really set for this next unprecedented time.
Well, before the suspension, everyone was talking about the Milwaukee Bucks in the East. They were kind of running the table in your conference per se, but do you think that the Celtics have what it takes to come out on top on the Eastern Conference and make it to the NBA Finals?
For sure. The Celtics are definitely capable, as well as we're prepared. We're going to give them all we got, and I think that we're as good as anyone prepared enough to not only make it to the NBA Finals, but also contend to win it. But our team is definitely as a very versatile. We do a lot of great things together. So it's just a matter of if we continue to do so and compete, and we'll see how we perform.
Grant, thanks so much for giving me your time.
Anytime. Thank you.